Hello, welcome back. Do you guys want to crochet some Santa Claus boot cuffs? They're perfect for your ugly sweater party. Let's get started. So we will need some red yarn. I have Super Saver Jumbo. The color is cherry red. I like keeping my yarn in a bag or a bowl of some sort. And again, so we will need red, black, white, and yellow. You're going to need a piece of scrap paper and a pen. Because I always forget where I'm at. I already have my pattern written down. Santa boot cuffs, a 4-ply yarn, and H hook. We start off with a chain 10. If you don't know how to make a slip knot, show you real quick. And there you go. So we're going to chain 12, not too tight. Oh, hold on. Something messed up here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so there are 12. The next thing we do, single crochet each stitch to the end. So we should have 12. The first couple rows are the most difficult. Once they get started, easy peasy. Grab some more yarn. Again, not too tight of a stitch. Nice loose. You'll get used to the perfect tension. Okay. There. 12. Next it says chain 1, and we're going to single crochet back loop only all the way to the end. I like to chain 1 before I turn. Chain 1, turn. Single crochet back loop only to the end. Here's a little tip to make your ends look super good. Your first one and your very last should go through both stitches, even if it calls for a back stitch loop. And then from every stitch there on, we're going to do this back loop. Until the very end. So, again, making sure you're getting that back loop. And again, it's still single crochet. These are super easy to make. You can make a bunch of them in a day, a couple sets. Get your friends together. I had to grab some more yarn. You could have a Santa boot cuff crochet party, and you can all wear your Santa Claus boot cuffs to the Christmas party. All right, so is that the last stitch? Wait a minute, I have to count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't want to mess up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have one more, and go through both loops on the end, chain 1, that looks so much better. All right, so the next thing we do is we are going to repeat for 35 to 40 rows. There's where the scrap paper comes in. We're going to write 35 to 40. So I went ahead and wrote 40 on there anyway. And we'll see how many we need. So we're going to, what we are making, I guess I should tell you, we are making this part of our boot cuff. This part will go in the top of our boot. So 35 to 40 rows will make, is to fit around your calf. So if you need a couple more or a couple less, don't forget it stretches. Stretches quite nicely. And I'll do another row with you. I already chain 1. And because it's at the very beginning, I like to go through both. This is your preference. And then from this point on, I like to do the back stitch until the last stitch. First and last, I go through both. Crocheting in the back loop gives us this ribbed look. All right, I'm at my very last one. I'm going through both, not just the back loop. Chain 1, turn. I think the ends look so much neater when you go through both stitches. All right, so that was 1. That little tail keeps getting in the way. Back loop, the rest of them. Again, first and last stitches are the only ones that I do both loops. All right, so we're going to go to the end of here, and then I will meet you back when we have 35 to 40 rows, whatever it is to fit around my calf, or wherever it is that I want my boot cuff to rest, depending on my boots. I'm at the very last one, so again, I'm going through both loops. Chain 1, turn, mark your second one off. And I'm going to continue in this manner for 35 to 40 rows, and I'm going to make 2 of them because we need 2 boot cuffs. So you guys, I'll meet you back here when we have 2 of them made. So I just wanted to show you guys real quick. I am starting round 26, And this is what it is looking like. So as long as you have something that looks like that, you'll be doing great. So I am at 40 rows, and I had told you we need 2 of these, but, well, we do, but we're going to make them individually because we are now going to slip stitch our end together like this. So we're just going to slip stitch the side together. So that will be a total of 12 slip stitches. One. I'm going to do the inside loop. 4, 5, 6, 7, grab some more yarn, 8, 9, 10, 11, going through both, 12, chain 1, and now if you want that to be your inside, you can flip it, which I do. I already have a chain 1. So we have 40 rows. We are going to single crochet all the way around. So we should have 40 stitches. Chain 1. And I'm going to crochet my tail in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And it's super easy to find the ends because we crocheted through both through both loops. All right, so I will meet you back here when we get all the way back to the beginning, and we should have 40 single crochets. All right, so I have 40 stitches all the way around, and you guys don't worry if you don't have 40. Maybe you have 42, 38, 37, it doesn't matter. Just get back around to the beginning. And the next thing we are going to do is slip stitch into the first one. So slip stitch, chain 1. We're gonna two single crochets the next stitch, 1 single crochet. Okay, hold on, let me read my directions. Chain 1. 2 single crochet next stitch, 1 single crochet each stitch to halfway, 2 single crochets, and then single crochet to end. Okay, so we're going to do an increase at the beginning and then halfway. So 2 single crochets at the beginning, 1 crochet halfway. We're going to do another increase, and then single crochet all the way back. So one, 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 single crochet until we're halfway around, and we'll do an increase. We're just about halfway or anywhere in the vicinity, and we're going to do 2 single crochets in that stitch, 1, 2, and then single crochet each stitch all the way to the end. I'll see you at the end. I have just a couple more until we get to the very end, and we are not going to tie off yet, but this is the end of the red right now, and we are going to switch to black. And if you don't want to cut off and have a knot, you're going to, wait a second, I'm doing a slip stitch. Let's get black. So to change yarn without tying a knot, you attach your yarn at your very last part of your stitch. So we're doing a slip stitch. So I'm going to grab my black and pull it all the way through. Do a chain 1. And now there is no knot, and you can't tell where I joined. I'm going to cut this red. I will sew, or I'll crochet that tail in. But the next thing we're going to do, black. Chain 1, single crochet each stitch around. Slip stitch to the beginning. So we already chained 1. I'm going to crochet my ends in. So single crochet every stitch around. Crocheting both the red and the black tail in. And I will meet you back at the very beginning when we have a single crochet in every stitch around. So I am to the end. I have 1 more single crochet, and I'm going to slip stitch. And I wanted to let you guys know that we have 1 more round of black. Whoops. So I've slip stitched, and we have, like I said, we have 1 more round of black. Chain 1, single crochet each stitch to the end, and then we're going to slip stitch. So we're going to have 2 rows of black. And we are going to tie off at the end of that. Actually, we're not going to tie off. I'm going to show you how to add the color, another color again, in case I didn't show you good enough. So 1 more round of black, and then we're doing red. Chain 1, single crochet. Every stitch to the end. It's starting to look quite nice, don't you think? Yes, it does. It's beautiful. We are now going to switch to the red yarn. Let's get a little situated here. I'm coming from a different spot today. And again, just in case you did not see how I had joined the yarn last time, I will show you again so you don't have to tie knots if you do not want to. Now when we join yarn this way, we always add the new yarn on our last action of the stitch. And what I mean is, like, if it's a double crochet, it'll be your very last pull through that you add. So we're going to join with a slip stitch. And generally with a slip stitch, you go in, you pull, you come through, and you go through. But since we are joining yarn, we're not using black. We'll be using the red on our last action of this stitch, which is just pulling it through. And then our notes, because I'm on red and I have my scrap paper still. Chain 1, single crochet each stitch around, and repeat for 2 more rows. That'll be our first stitch, and then 2 more rows. I'm gonna cut the black yarn and crochet both of those tails, the red and the black one, in. Chain 1, single crochet every stitch around, holding those tails nice and snug so we can crochet and hide them in as well. Once I get a couple more stitches here, I want to show you what the join looks like without the knot. There's so many different ways to join yarn. I probably have a video. Yeah, so you cannot see where we joined our yarn. There's no knot. There's no obvious change in yarn. And we're hiding our tails, and you can't even see them on the inside. So we will continue in this manner all the way around for this row, and then 2 more. I really, really hope you guys can see. It's very early in the morning. I should be sharing my Poshmark closet, but I'm uploading crochet videos instead. Now, when these tails get small like this, you can cut them off. You can cut them right there if you want, or just keep going until they're totally crocheted in. It is up to you. And again, all my scrap yarn goes on a tree out in the yard for the birds, so they can take the yarn and weave them in their nest. Those are the last 2, or the last of our tail. I'm gonna just snip them off, being super, super careful not to cut my crochet loops. You do not have to cut them if you do not want to. But these boot cuffs are going to be a gift. I know. It's like, you're like, you give everything away. I try to give as much away as possible. But I fear people just accept it so I won't feel bad. Oh, coffee break. Okay, you guys, so I'm going to continue. I'm going to put you guys on pause, and I'm going to finish this row and then the next 2, and I will be back. I've come all the way around to my last stitch, and I figured we might as well just do our slip stitch. Oh, jeepers, of course. Performance anxiety here. I split my yarn. We'll see if we can get it to work. There we go. So I'm going to mark that row off. I have 2 more, chain 1. Continue on. 2 more rows. Now that we have the red on there, it's so much easier to see. It's so hard to see with black. But black is such a beautiful color, shade to crochet with. Oh my gosh, I love crocheting with black. It's just so stinking hard to see. Okay, so I'm going to put you guys on pause again. Oopsie, split those I almost said split those hairs again. Split that yarn. So yeah, I'm going to put you guys on pause, finish this row, and then do 1 more, and I will be back. Okay, so I just finished my 3rd row and had a little bit of a coffee break. So what my recipe, oh my gosh, it's not a recipe. What my pattern says now is we're going to cut our red, we're going to join with a slip stitch, and then we're going to add white. It calls for fun fur. You guys, I searched all my crochet drawers for fun fur. I think that shit ran off to the amusement park without me. Riding roller coasters without me. So this is what I'm going to use instead. This is not fun fur, but it is a very nice, light, and foofy-ish yarn. So I'm going to use this one instead. And if I have to go around twice, I will. I don't mind. And again, it says slip stitch to join. So I showed you guys how to join without having to cut your yarn and tie a knot. So we're just going to do that. Pull tight. I'm going to cut this red one because we were done. And we will hide that tail in later. Well, shortly. So it says chain 1, single crochet around, and then weave the end in. You want to keep this white a nice loose tension on your strand. You don't want it super tight, and you will still be hiding those red tailed, the red and the white tail. Like I said, when they get small enough, you can trim them at any point you want. If you want to keep going, like I do, to really crochet them in, because sometimes when you wash these, I wash them all by hand, my own stuff. Sometimes those little smaller tails have a way of falling out. So if you just leave them a little bit longer, take the couple extra stitches to stitch them in, you generally won't have a problem. See, I have one more red. I'm going to go ahead and stitch it in. Hopefully I'm staying in frame. I'm just going to go ahead and trim the extra white. And we do 1 round of this white. But like I said, if it is not foofy and fuzzy enough for you, you go back through the same round and add another single crochet to it. Or if you already know automatically that that is not enough white for you, you could do 2 single crochets per stitch if you would like, instead of going back around. I personally am just doing the one. I like this yarn. It is not the fun fur, but I like the look of it when it is being crocheted. Okay, so I'll meet you back here when I get to the end. Okay, so we are back at the front. At the beginning. Had to make sure we were actually recording. And we're going to slip stitch to the front, to, oh my goodness gracious, to the first one. And slip stitch to join. I'm going to end that right there. I like that look. I think that is a beautiful boot cuff. Chain 1 to, in case I didn't, I probably already did. Let me check that. Oh, I did. Hold on. And if you crochet properly, and if you make a mistake, you can pull it right out, and it won't get tangled. That's how you know your stitch was good. I'm going to cut a strand. Now I will take a tapestry needle and hide this tail on the inside. We are not done. Next step. Gold buckle. Oh, look. We might make a dog sweater next. What do you guys think? Same hook. Oh my gosh, I need a G hook. I'm so not prepared for this. I might as well grab some more coffee while I'm getting up. I will be right back. Okay, we are resupplied. We have a fresh cup of coffee. I have yarn. And I also brought with me my container for tags. Watch this be a disaster. I have the G hook. I know you're probably gonna be, anyways. Oh man. Anyway, it's a G hook. And it says the first thing we do is chain 20. So, make that crazy 8. It's the only way I know how to make a slip stitch. A slip knot, I mean. And we're going to chain 20. Ten. 20. Single crochet the next 4. One, 2, 3, 4. Single crochet next 4, 2 in the next stitch. So this must be a corner. 1, 2. Whoops, split that yarn. Single crochet the next 4. 1, 2. Oops. 2 in the next one. So 2, 1, 2 in the same stitch, 4, maybe, 1, oh, it's getting all wonky, 2, oh, goodness gracious, when they're little like this, they're hard to hold, 4, 2 in the next one. You're like, you just made 5 corners. Boy, I hope not. I really hope not. And we should have 4 left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Single crochet your last 4. 1, 2. Now, you guys, you can use any yarn that you have. Adjust your hook. Well, that scoundrel won't fit it in there. Won't fit in there. What's going on? Oops, I skipped one. Give me that one. There it is. All right. That's where it's going. Okay. 1, 2. All the way to the end. Connect to form a square. Slip stitch to join. Okay, so connect to make a square. Okay. We will just slip stitch. Let me grab my tail. I just turned it to the back side, and we're going to come to the end and slip stitch in that very last one. Oh, maybe I'm making this way more difficult than it needs to be. I'm going to be super disappointed if it ends up being twisted. Chain 1. I just chained 1 to lock it in place. I'm going to make sure we have a square. Yeah, there we go. There's our corners. Perfect. Okay. I already chained 1. I could probably pull that tail a little smaller. And you just pull it through. Lock it in place. Now we're going to attach this to our boot cuff. Whoops, I'm not even in frame. Hopefully I was. Don't let your coffee get cold. So sometimes if you leave long enough strands, and I should have done that, you can use your strands to sew your buckle right on. And I may have long enough. And all we're going to do is pick a spot, any spot, your choice, and we're going to attach this little gold buckle. Oops, don't lose the little miscellaneous pieces for the birds. This is my join, where I joined the yarn. Just wondering whether I want that to be my front. Definitely not. That is going to be the very back. You see where we joined it. All right, so I'm going to put you guys on hold. I'm going to go through my box, find my tapestry needle, and we're going to attach that beauty. So it was exactly where it's supposed to be, right in front. And let's see what we can do. Nice big tapestry needle. Being careful not to go all the way through and sewing it closed. I'm going to put a couple stitches all the way up. Just working in my crochet stitches. You don't want it tight because you want it to stretch when the person puts it on. So make sure you don't sew it in super, super tight. Like I said, just go anywhere. You could do a whole lot more if you want, but I'm not too concerned with it. I'm going to use this one, crochet or sew it up and tie in with that one. And again, there is no specific place that I am putting these. They're just anywhere we want. Just to tack it down slightly. Whoops. Did I tangle that? I'm going to go up in this corner. So I skipped some huge spots. Whoops, let me put this back in. Generally, I would have had a longer tail. See if we can get it to go up and back through one more time. Hold on to that tail. There. I'm going to sew these, or knot these real quick. Do a few, 3 or 4, always in reverse directions of each other. That way the knot will not come out, and we will hide that as well. So we might as well just flip this inside out and hide these. Where's my small hook? That's an H. That's a G. We'll just use a tapestry needle. Not doing so great here, am I? So I'm not a professional. I just love to crochet. I love to create. All right, so let's see how well we can hide these without losing that one. It's not that we're hiding them, we're just locking them in place. You do not want to go through to the other side though, to the good side. Stay on the dark side. Just joking. Oops. This one we might, that small tail is a stinker. I'll just do a few more stitches down. I'm making this so much harder than it needs to be. One more. And then we're just going to lock it in place, which means going back up a couple. Maybe. pull it a little bit. Cut that extra one off. I'm going to cut this one too, as close as I can. Hopefully. There. Now we're going to do this white one. Well, get in there. And I'm going to stay in the white. I'm just going to weave it in and out. Making sure it's not too tight. And to lock it in place, we're just going to go back through the opposite direction a few times. There. Pull it out a little just to snug it up, locks it in place. Get rid of that extra tail. Flip it back in, and there's our beautiful Santa Claus boot cuff. What do you think? Oh my gosh. They're stinking adorable. Okay, so we are not done. We need another one. We need a coffee break. We need to make two, so don't forget that. But we need to put our little tag on there so that when you give them away as gifts or somebody buys these from you, because you guys, you can sell this stuff. So you can make your own little tag. For years, I have been using this faux leather, this brown. But Dollar Tree carries in the Crafter Square the faux leather as well, and I love this color. I'm not going to put it on the red. Should I? I'm going to cut two of these because I have two boot cuffs. And what they usually are is usually it's about a finger thick. So I just guesstimate about a finger. Oops, sorry. And cut it. This is about a 2-inch strip. And I'm going to cut as straight as possible. Now, if you have a cutting machine, yeah, it'd be so much better. But imperfectly perfect this is. There's two. And what I do is I poke 2 holes in them. Now, if you think that's too long, you could trim it up. You can round the edges if you want. Poke a couple holes in the end for my yarn. And my marker. This is kind of a thin tip, but it'll work. All right, so this will be going on like so, probably on my seam. So I want to make sure the initials I put on there, my own little tag. Let that dry. Only if, you know, in case you're using a lighter material, you don't want your Sharpie to get on there. Just let it dry for a few seconds. And I just put our initials on that tag. That's all. That's all it is. Super, super simple. And I'm going to use red. So I'm going to cut me a red string. Way too long, but oh well. And again, using this tapestry needle. We still filming? We certainly are. And it looks like my other videos are finished loading. Okay, so this is, I talk a lot. I'm going to stick this on the back. And like I said, you can make these things smaller if you want. Just going to go through the hole. Both holes, both sides. Whoops, I'm not even in frame. There it is. I cut enough for both of them. And again, we're just going to tie it. Tie in a knot. 3-4 little knots. Opposite directions. That way they pull against each other and go tighter, not loosen. We're just going to cut these. So we got so many knots in them, we don't have to hide it. It's just a little tag. Save this long one for the second boot cuff. So there we go. We have a beautiful boot cuff with our own little tag on it. And again, this is the part, this is the front, this is the part that goes in your boot. Let's get that next one made. Okay, whoops. Okay, so first one is done. I better put that where it belongs before I lose it. And I'm going to start on the second one. I'm not gonna make a video of the second one because we already did the first one together. Except to remind you that, yeah, chain 12. Because we're doing the cuff part. So don't forget, make your second one. You can rewind this video. And I will have closed captions on so you can pause. Super simple, single crochets and slip stitches. That is it. The whole cuff, single and slip. So if you like this type of video, please give my video a thumbs up. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. We are trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. We will have a giveaway. So you guys, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you in the family. But really, most importantly, I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll see you in the next video. Okay, so we have finished both boot cuffs. I don't know what happened to this buckle, but you guys, go with your mistakes. It's fine. Both of them have tags on them. And yeah, I think they look awesome, you guys. Let me know what you think. Again, like, comment, subscribe. I would love to have you in the family. And we'll see you in the next video.